You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mega Podcast. We're going to move away from the T20 World Cup and back in time now to the IPL. We're going to be revisiting our predictions from before the tournament. And I'm afraid to say, boys, before we get going, that it doesn't make for great reading overall. So this was a competition. If you predicted correctly, you get 5 points. If you were close, you get 3, 2, or 1 points. We made predictions on the following categories: most runs, most wickets, MVP, flop of the tournament wooden spoon, playoff making teams, and overall winner. Should we get going? Or does anyone have any comment to make?
No, I always look forward to these because I can't actually remember what I said. So
I can't remember. I couldn't remember either. I had to go back through the transcript earlier on today and find out who said what. We'll start with runs. Do you recall who you said, Ross?
Was it Virat Kohli by any chance?
It was not Virat Kohli, I'm afraid. You went for Jaiswal. I went for Joss Buttler, and Max went for Virat Kohli. So it's actually an early lead for Max. Max, do you have the top run scorers for the IPL up in front of you?
I do, yeah. So we have
who featured?
Who featured? Virat Kohli, obviously top, as we all know. Gaikwad, actually, surprisingly to me, ended up second, 583. Rian Parag, not far behind. Travis Head, win the Environ. Sanju Samson rounded off the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Oh, Jaiswal's down at 15th on the back.
No points, I think, for Roth and myself there, but 5 to Max, which is good. For most wickets, these were the predictions. I predicted Rashid Khan. Max, you predicted Varun Chakravarti, and Ross, you went with Jasprit Bumrah. I think it's fair to say I was way off the mark on that. Rashid Khan, he's had back surgery or something like that. I think he might have a bad injury. He did not have a good IPL whatsoever. Other two were quite good though. Max, do you have the wickets up in front of you?
Yep. So 34th place, Rashid Khan on 10. Jasprit Bumrah, 20 in third place. Varun Chakravarti, 21 in second place. Harshal Patel, though, rounding it off, 24 from his 14 games. I'm going to blame the rain on my lack of victory there.
Well, did KKR miss 2 matches, didn't they? So yeah. It's a fair argument. Roth, what are you going to say?
Well, just looking at the economies of those guys, Harshal Patel just bought wickets. 9.73 is an economy rate. Chakravarti 8.04, and Bumrah coming at 6.48. That's a decent season for the Mumbai Indian bowler.
In fairness to Harshal, it's been an expensive year, right? Andre Russell took 19. He did it just over 10. I think, yeah, 9. It's not ideal going at 9.7 for your 24 wickets, but taking wickets is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, but both those things are both the caps, the most runs and both wickets, are both kind of exposed as a bit dumb. I mean, obviously, Jasprit Bumrah was the best bowler in the IPL. That's not actually a debate. But they've given the award to a guy who, did they finish last? As you said, Ross bought wickets. I took a lot of wickets right at the death, which are kind of slightly less valuable. Yeah. Overall, so there's that. There is that. Fair enough, though. What points do you want for that? Max, you came second. Do you get 2 points for that or 3 points?
I think it's 3. And I probably get 2 and you get 0.
Yeah.
I'm on 0. So, Max, that puts you on 8 points. Ross on 2 points. Me on 0 points. Next comes most valuable player, as chosen by ourselves. So we get.
I remember who I chose for this one. I think. And it was a bit of I think I inadvertently said Mitch Stark because I panicked because I hadn't prepared for the MVP one.
I don't. No, I've got Surya Kumar Yadav.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, fine. I'm going to take that.
Perhaps this was the transcription getting it wrong though, because it wasn't actually. So this is when I was reading back through the transcription, obviously the software that we use to do the transcription, it's good for people words, not good for people names.
Right. Okay.
So it wasn't Surya Kumayada's name. I just made a guess that you went for Surya Kumayada.
What does it actually say?
Oh, it was just like gobbledygook. But it had it was about long enough that it could have been Surya Kumayada. But I guess, there's some M's and some S's in there, and some A's. It could have been Mitchell Stark.
Former Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Either way, Ross, I think you're out of the conversation. Max,
certainly.
Yeah, Max. They both had moments, didn't they? But I wouldn't say MVP worthy. Max, you went for Rashid Khan, so that's definitely
not
a zero
good.
there.
No,
I went for Andre Russell, who did pick up wickets and did score some runs.
that is good.
Yeah, I want at least a point out of this.
Yeah, you've got a point. You've got a point.
big
He
time.
finished sixth. He finished sixth, so it didn't quite make the top three, which I think is where you start getting the bonuses. But yeah, 1 point definitely for Andre. Phil Salt finished seventh in the MVP listing.
Yeah.
That's very well done. But Sunil Narine, 450 points he got. That is an unbelievable season. Virat Kohli was next on 315. So that is an absolute walloping.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it was Sunil Narine. Max, a few days ago, we were asked by somebody who our MVP was for the tournament, and Sunil Narine is clearly number one. Who do you think was second place, Ross?
Well, in terms of Virat got it by thing, but
I don't care about that. That doesn't count. That's just made up numbers.
Yeah, it's quite difficult.
Virat Kohli wasn't the second best player in the IPL this year. That's just not true. He had a really, really good year. Maybe in the top 10. He wasn't better than Travis Head. He wasn't better than Jasprit Bumrah.
No, it's a difficult one because I thought that actually someone like Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma did really, really well. Abhishek Sharma in particular, I think actually did very well. My beautiful pink boys, and if I'm going to stay loyal to that, I thought Sanju Samson actually was absolutely brilliant for them this year. But is he really MVP? Probably not. I think it's kind of against wicket keepers. Really, it needs to be kind of a bowler or a batter. So yeah, I just don't know, mate. I just don't know. Okay. I think Sunil Narine was such clearly a winner that it's kind of everyone else was kind of in a middling pack compared to him.
Yeah, fair enough. So I get 1 point there, which means the scores are Max 8, Ross 2, Jack 1, and then we move to flop. This is something that we self-judge as well. I went for Rohit Sharma. We might have to make our cases here. Yeah. Max, you went for Rian Parag, so you've got no case to make. You've got a 0.
Possibly negative points for me there.
Yeah. Ross, you went for Faf du Plessis. So I don't think any of us have nailed that. I mean, Max, seeing as you're out of the conversation for any points whatsoever, can you give us your thoughts on who was the flop of the season?
Well, I would say Glenn Maxwell would be my flop. I think there was a chance halfway through that he was going to get a reprieve when he left the side, but then he came back and made a triumphant return with a golden duck, and generally just not being very good. He did okay with the ball. To be fair, I think he had a few decent spells with the ball, but overall, I mean, that's not what he's there for. No. He were bad. He were bad with the bat. So yeah, I think quite comfortably.
Is Dave Padakal good enough to be considered for the flop conversation, Ross?
He was dreadful, wasn't he? He was truly dreadful. He wasn't Deepak Hooda dreadful, was he, compared to last year? But the stats are going to be, they're not going to be pretty for him. I'm not sure you really expected much from him, if we're perfectly honest. I think the expectation on Rashid Khan actually puts him into the conversation. If one of us had said that would have been okay with it. Yeah. Cam Green, Max, last year out, you predicted, I think it was going to be Cam Green. He had a great season for Mumbai. The transfer here ultimately worked out as they made the playoffs, but he didn't really light it up. Glenn Maxwell was pretty shoddy, it's fair to say.
I mean, Hardik's got to be in the conversation for flop of the tournament as well. Like, big transfer, goes to Mumbai. Everyone thinks it's God Squad 2, and they lose their first 3 matches and then lose a bunch more matches after that. He didn't really contribute with bat or ball, and his captaincy was... I don't know if his captaincy was divisive within the team, but in the commentariat, at least, his captaincy was divisive. So... He'd
216 runs from 13 innings, an average of 18. That is pretty poor.
Yeah, It isn't Glenn Maxwell bad though. I mean, like obviously the answer is Glenn Maxwell here. It's almost Glenn Maxwell has won flop of the year almost as much as Sunil Narayan won MVP. I would
Yeah,
say
I think that's
like,
probably fair, yeah.
he's absolutely walloped the competition. I was going to try and make a case for Rohit Sharma, but he actually got 400 runs, which is
And I think what was his intent? Because I thought he was striking much higher than kind of what he did historically, probably around like the 150, 160 mark. So pretty good.
So he had his highest ever strike rate in the IPL, and it's the first time he scored 400 runs since 2019.
Wow.
So actually a decent year for Rohit Sharma. What was you had Faf? Faf made the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's
Yeah,
an
and again, 400
No
runs,
points.
strike rate of 160 is pretty not bad.
Mm-hmm.
No points for anyone. Wooden Spoon, team that finished last in the tournament.
Oh, my prediction for RCB was looking so good halfway through.
Yes, you went for RCB, and as many fans pointed out, you got more and more bitter about RCB winning the longer it went on. So that was good. Max, you chose Delhi Capitals, and that was looking like a top shout as well until
Yeah.
Jake Fraser McGurk turned up, and then they became actually quite serviceable. And I went for Punjab Kings, the real wooden spoon, Mumbai Indians. Now, if you'd called that would have been an absolute touch.
10 points.
They won four. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, they won 4 of their 14 matches, and they were a bad cricket team. Punjab, they came second bottom, mainly thanks to Gujarat having 2 rain-offs. I think Gujarat were awful. They finished with a net run rate of -1, but Punjab slide in below on just based on points. I think I get, I don't know, some points for that.
I think 3 for you for that.
3, yes,
Yeah.
back in business. What am I up to? I'm up to 4 points. So Max, you're still on 8. Ross, you're on 2. I'm on 4. It's getting competitive. Next category, we predicted playoffs, so I think we get a point per playoff team.
Yep, that's it.
Ross, your playoff picks were the Rajasthan Royals,
1
the
point.
Kolkata Knight Riders,
2 points.
the Chennai Super Kings,
Oh dear.
and the Mumbai Indians.
Oh, only 2. Only 2 up to 4.
Yeah, that's 2. Max, your predictions were Chennai Super Kings, Kolkata Knight Riders, Rajasthan Royals, and Punjab Kings. Do you want to do that one?
Yeah. No, I know exactly. I remember exactly what happened. So we were in the midst of picking our teams for the IPL draft, which Alex in the Discord and Patreon, and so very kindly ran for us, put together. Absolutely brilliant job. Shout out for that. But yeah, I based it on the teams that had the most players picked at that stage of the draft, which was pretty close to the end. So those were the top 4. So those were the ones I went for. Interesting, CSK had more players picked than you could actually fit into a team. So maybe in retrospect, it wasn't the best way of going about it, but I thought I'd represent the Discord on that one, and you know, it could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Who did you pick?
Mine were bad. Mumbai Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chennai Super Kings.
Yeah.
Gujarat Titans.
Oh.
And Rajasthan Royals.
Okay.
1 point.
You got 1.
Yes. We all missed Sunrisers Hyderabad. That's
yeah.
Well, to be fair to us, they have been
RCB.
absolutely garbage. They were absolutely garbage, weren't they? So, yeah.
Right, in the knockouts.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ross, how many points you up to?
4.
I'm up to 5. Max, you are up to 10.
Mm.
Are our predictions good? I don't know if they are. I don't know.
No.
Maybe this is the last time we do this exercise. It's yeah. I think we're good at reactions.
Every year we're good at reactions, but we do also every year
actions.
consistently make ourselves look like we don't know what we're talking about, which maybe isn't the best way
Well,
of going
here's
about things.
This is what I would say. My predictions are based on literally no preparation whatsoever. someone just says, "Who's going to finish most runs?" and I go, "Joss Butler." I don't think about the players. I don't think about form. I don't think who's playing at what venue. I don't think
Yeah.
about strategy or
Well,
any of
I've
that.
tried
No,
that
I'll
in the
just pick the
past.
first name that came into my head.
I've tried that in the
When-
past. It hasn't worked
When I'm
either,
talking
so-
about a game, I actually I do some research. I watch the game to begin with. There's some thought processes that are happening. Predictions, I couldn't care less
Give
about.
away
them.
the secret
And-
sauce right now, mate.
Yeah, sorry. Ross, the
Mm.
final round was winner of the IPL. Here were our predictions. You went for Rajasthan Royals. I don't think they won. You can check that.
No, they
but
didn't
don't
win.
think
I
they
think I did. If you check this transcript, I was saying that KKR would be a good contender. So I'm going to take solace in that, but no points for me.
won. Max, you went for Chennai Super Kings, I believe.
Well, I had to, didn't I? Oh, boys.
And I went for Kolkata Knight Riders.
Hey, well done.
Hey.
I think it's again. I will say this. The transcript
I'm
wasn't clear.
I'm not convinced you did go for KKR. By the way,
The
because you were very much against KKR until we did the teams, and you were like, oh, maybe. You literally went out of your way at the start, being like, I'm not a big buyer of KKR, so I'm going to call bullshit on that one. But you know what?
I think I hedged my bets against the playoff predictions by picking KKR. I think that was what happened. It's really difficult to tell with the transcript. Someone's going to have to re-listen to the podcast and let us know whether that's correct or not. But I'm going to award myself 5 points here,
That's
which means it's a
unsurprising.
tie.
Take it.
It's a tie between me and Max for the IPL prediction game, with
Nice.
Ross in third and last place. Unlucky Ross. Any final thoughts on the IPL? This is it. We don't have to talk about it anymore. Max,
Yeah, good. Too long.
Ross.
There were some massive games, right? So there was records that tumbled. It was great to see someone like Mumbai kind of build a decent team and then realise, oh no, we've not got much bowling other than Bumrah. And it was nice to see Pat Cummins kind of revolutionise what was happening at Sunrisers. But ultimately, Rajasthan Royals not quite good enough in that space, and you'll see the team kind of probably be ripped apart, unfortunately, at the next auction space. But KKR were by far the best team, and Gautam Gambhir and the co there who'd run it have done a fantastic job. So, yeah, a deserved victory for KKR.
Yeah, I think KKR were the best team, as we were saying last night. If you want like match analysis of that final, Ross and I did talk about it for half an hour or 45 minutes yesterday, or 2 days ago, whenever we released this. So you can go back and listen to that and any of the other shows on the IPL as well. You can follow the whole tournament from scratch if you want to.
I mean, KKR won the whole group stage with Mitchell Starc being a complete laughing stock, and then and then we got to the knockout games, and he just absolutely slayed.
Well, I'll give you this. Ross might have come last in the predictions race, but he was bang on Stark the whole way through the tournament. He said it would come good, and it did. It
really
did come good. Here's what I thought about the IPL, Max. I think you're right. I think I don't. Previous IPLs, I've remained engaged the whole way through the tournament. Really enjoyed them. This one, for me, 2 weeks too long. I don't think there were enough good games near the end of the group stage.
When there's a World Cup around the corner.
Yeah, I think the World Cup being 5 days after the tournament, that's so stupid that there's literally a week between the IPL, the biggest domestic tournament, and the beginning of the World Cup. Like, the cricket has 3 formats and like hundreds of varieties of team makeup and stuff like that. And we've basically gone, what we're going to do is have 4.5 months of the same thing, please, with no break in between. And that's silly.
I wonder if it'll get to the India side. Be interesting.
I also thought at stages it was a little bit like it was eating itself. Like how many times are we going to have the Dhoni storyline? We've had the Dhoni, is he going to retire storyline 4 IPLs in a row, and it's like, he's still pretty good. He's going to whack it at the end. Like, he's not the captain, didn't get the send off. The whole thing was built up for that, I felt, and nobody got the emotional payoff because thank God RCB ruined that party. It was a little bit. Yeah, I felt a bit tired from some of the stuff being, I felt, regurgitated. But it's still a good tournament in it. Like, at the end of the day, we'll watch it again next year we'll talk about it again next year. Just maybe play 2 games on Friday and 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday, and make the whole thing 2 weeks shorter, a little bit more intense. That'd be my tip. Next year, it's going to be 1 game a day, even on Sundays. Yeah, Ross, what are you going to say?
I just think I think it's probably a good time to wrap up the show. Thank you very much for listening, everybody, and all of the people on our Patreon in particular. You've made the IPL far greater than it possibly could be, and Alex for running the draft. Thank you ever so much.
Cool. Good way to end. See you for the big boys T20 World Cup preview coming up soon.